Hello friends, my name is Dr. Huma Hassan. So let's continue our discussion on the meaning, scope and development of anthropology. So in previous lecture, I have shown that how Conard book is on the work of humanity, which we did discuss. Please go back to my playlist and see this work which I have explained, Window on Humanity. You need to refer good content, okay? And you would see that Conrad Philip Kotick is famous anthropologist who is defining the subject matter of anthropology. Now, after understanding that, okay, how anthropology is tilted towards humanity, you need to produce good definition. You need to define subject discipline when you are talking about meaning of anthropology. Now, you can say that it is a comparative science, okay? So you can just quickly copy it out from my PPT that it is a comparative science. Okay, it is a comparative science that examines all societies, ancient, modern, simple, and complex. Okay, so this is one part which you can see and write it down, and then you can write down this particular definition. Anthropology offers, okay, a unique cross-cultural perspective, constantly comparing the customs of one society with those of others. Okay, so this these two lines, I mean, see this bullet points and this bullet points, you can see on my screen. Copy it out, okay, make your notes on it. So whensoever I am explaining something, I'm writing on the boards, I would be in this series, I would be making flow charts, I would be giving you case studies. Write it down, okay, because there is no point if you are just simply listening to it for just passing the time. Don't waste your time. Even if you're listening to 5 minutes of lectures of mine, make it, write it, okay, because once you are writing, it is actually you are retaining that understanding in your mind. Okay, so after these 2 points, we can write it up about next important part. So you can say among scholarly disciplines, anthropology stands out as the field that provides a cross-cultural test. Now, what is the important question which anthropology is asking? It is asking what makes us human. Okay, so anthropology help us to understand what humans are like, what makes us human. So this is the one question you can start. Often you can start your answer that anthropology help us to understand what makes human. Okay, so this is one part you can say. So a primary reason anthropology can uncover so much about what it means to be human is that the discipline is based on the cross cultural perspective, because a single cultural simply cannot tell us everything about what makes us human. Okay, so we need to know about what it means to be human. We need to compare and contrast. Okay, we need to compare and contrast. So to become a cultural anthropologist, we need to do a lot of ethnography, and you need to know about this particular part. Okay, ethnographic fieldwork. So in ethnographic fieldwork, what we do, we live with that particular area where we are conducting our studies, and by using emic and etic approach. Emic and etic approach, it means that we are applying both perspectives, insights, views, and researchers analytical perspectives as well. So every culture has their own meaning, their own faith, their belief system. So I'm not judging it. I am analyzing it with their own, with the respondents' view. So insiders' views. Whatsoever communities, people is having their belief system, I'm not questioning it. At the same time, I'm also analyzing from my own perspective, that is researcher's view. Okay, so these two perspective is known as emic and etic perspective. Okay, so in this manner, we are having cross-cultural examination. So when we are understanding biological evolution, see, biological evolution and culture, both are interdependent. Okay, so there is an interplay between biology and cultural anthropology. They both are independent, yet they both are different process. So to understand biological evolution, we are totally dependent on natural sciences disciplines. Okay, and to understand how culturally we got evolved, we are dependent on social part. Now, when it got started, so cultural evolution or cross-cultural examination, when you think would have or should have been started. So we are actually started understanding this cultural evolution when our ancestors got more characteristics like humans. Okay, now here I am adding archaeological anthropology. So Australopithecines, paleontologists, paleoanthropologists, we do have less controversies, or you can say no controversies, in having this statement that as Australopithecines, okay, Australopithecines, you can say the range period 4.4 million years ago till 1 million years ago, we were getting Australopithecines and their derived species, okay. So Australopithecines were the common, you can say, Alenk, which got characteristics like, which got characteristics of apes and humans. So when Australopithecines were living, definitely we didn't have their dependence, we didn't have, like, dependence on the culture. So Australopithecines were not totally dependent on culture for their survival, but initial process got started during that phase only, and it got more advanced with, you can say, with the discoveries of Homo habilis fossil evidences we have got. So Australopithecines were some species which is telling us that, okay, from here we have to see that how species got dependent on their some social survival skills, which later we know it is called as what? It would be known as culture. So it is like humans adaptability. If I have to give another name to culture, I can say humans adaptability. So see, you can see this right now. What have I just done? I'm explaining about culture perspective, that how we are dependent on cross cultural examination. So the culture, when it got started, it got started during that phase only. So to understand cultural evolution also, we are dependent on how biologically we got evolved. So Australopithecines, then you have two genera in Australopithecines, okay? Robustus, Paranthropus, right? So you have Gereshile form, you have Robustus form, then you would talk about Homo habilis, where we have started making stone tools. So that is what we need to know in anthropology, and it stands for holistic comprehensive explanation of human evolution, right? So this is how you will define your understanding about the meaning of anthropology, right? So in the next lecture, we are going to talk about that to understand the meaning of anthropology, we also have to depend on human adaptability. I hope you people are getting what I'm explaining in anthropology. Keep making your notes, keep sharing my videos, keep commenting. If you have any doubts, right there, I will answer it. Okay, thank you.